when I found myself seated in the front row of a church at a 5-year-old's funeral. The little girl was the daughter of some dear friends in a circle of larger friends that I had known for years. We had all married around the same time, attended each other's weddings, collectively celebrated the birth of our children, and now much too soon assembled in this place to say goodbye to a beautiful little girl who was the accidental victim of a negligent doctor during her leukemia treatment. The human element intertwined with medicine can sometimes backfire. It was an honest mistake, but costly in ways that are too scary to acknowledge. As you can imagine, the parents, Allison and Steve, were devastated beyond repair. When I heard the news, I immediately got on a plane and went to them, not knowing what I could possibly say or do to help alleviate their pain. I was a comedian. I said and did funny things for a living. This was not my gig. In fact, I had trouble even putting myself in their shoes. I wanted to be supportive, but I knew true empathy would give me horrific nightmares. Keeping an emotional distance was the safe thing to do. I stoically sat in the front row while people all around me wept. A close friend at the altar relayed a playground story that beautifully illustrated how the simple things in life end up being the emotional tags for our best memories. Unfortunately, I could not cry. Everyone around me cried the tears of 1,000 broken hearts. Boxes of Kleenex passed down the line, and when one came to me, I simply passed it on without taking a tissue. Then, when she was done, the speaker at the altar asked for others to stand up and share their stories of comfort. A sea of eyes came my way. I suddenly realized that they were hoping I'd say something lighthearted yet poignant, something that would lighten the mood but not be inappropriate. Oh, no. Normally, I'd be the first one to volunteer at a roast or a toast or any public comment, but not here. Not this time. I looked down at the floor, completely dry-eyed, and watched a tiny spider crawl into the crack of the Spanish tile. After the funeral, we all gathered at Allison and Steve's house, where we were supposed to make small talk about I don't know what. It was uncomfortable because Steve especially had been in a deep, dark, emotional hole for months. And now this. He hadn't shown any signs of happiness since his daughter had been diagnosed almost a year prior. What do you say to that man at his kindergarten's wake? And then he spoke. He said, I wish it had been me. What am I doing here? The awkward silence after his comment was deafening. So I started to babble to fill the menacing void. I said, Steve, you need to be here for your wife and your son. I can totally understand how you feel. Well, no, actually, I can't because, well, you know, and you have to think about Allison. You have to be there for her. She'd be all alone until she remarried. Not that she would want to remarry, because why would she want to remarry? It's just that, you know, if it were me, I would want my husband to remarry because, you know, he should. He would, because he should. I mean, come on, he's all trained. So he'd make a nice husband for somebody else, because I've already done all the work. Come to think of it, if he died, that second wife would benefit from all my hard work. I want to thank you, from that bitch. Oh my gosh. Did I really say that out loud? Oh, I looked around, and everyone within earshot looked at me like I just swung a dead squirrel at a debutante. Oh, God, what am I started to get up to go choke myself on some cocktail weenies when I suddenly heard this out-of-place sound. It was Steve. He was laughing. Not a big guffaw, just the subtle breath that accompanies a smile. "Oh, Stacy," he said, "where do you come up with this stuff?" Then a woman next to Steve immediately started telling a funny story about her friend's cheating husband. And without missing a beat, everyone else began to chime in with their own amusing tales. Eventually, Steve added a story of his own to the mix. And for a brief time, everything felt kind of normal. After a couple of minutes, I excused myself and went to the bathroom, shut the door, locked it, and leaned over the sink, staring at the drain as if I expected it to talk to me. I guess comfort comes in all forms. By nature, we think it has to make a grand entrance, perfectly shrink-wrapped, as sage advice. But sometimes it simply comes by way of a sincere slip of the tongue. I stopped asking myself why I was here. And then I looked up at my reflection in